Hey everyone, thanks for spending some time with me today. In this episode, we're going to talk about this. And when you first look at it, might look perfectly fine to you, other than it's dirty. But there are some wrong things going on with this, and stay tuned to find out. Well, let's just get right into it. First thing is this filler plug. It looks like a nut with a bolt or something welded to it. I'm not sure, but that is not OEM. It's not even a proper bung that I've ever seen. Look how thick it is. It looks like a typical nut or something that was put on. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm going to take that off and hopefully find out what's going on. The washer, there's a washer or something here that is oblong. You can see how it doesn't fill properly center. Don't know, but we'll take that off and hopefully it's not damaged too much. Next thing I see is, if you look in there, see if I can get some light, a little bit there anyway. So if you look in there, right there, yeah, the bolt's missing. See, there's one over there. But the bolt's missing, and it looks like it's been filled with some type of silicone. I don't know why, but obviously that can cause problems sealing. So I want to fix that, or see at least what's going on. I can tell that it's kind of whatever, so I don't know what I'm going to do there, but I have to drop this down. And it's leaking like crazy in many places, I think. If I look, I've got the light here, that this pinion seal needs to be replaced. Definitely can see that that's leaking. Which side is it? I think it's this side. I think this seal is leaking. And on the other side, just get over there, we definitely got some leakage going on there too. So I'm going to replace all the seals. I'm going to replace that bolt, and I'm going to replace this bung and probably repair some stuff that needs to be repaired as well. So how do you take this apart? Well, to get at this bolt thing, I'm going to have to drop it down, but we'll get to that. But I need to basically take the drive shaft off here, drop it down, and then take this off to get at the gasket or the seal for there. And I got to take the axles off, so I will be taking apart here where they connect to the hub assembly, and then I can pull them out and do the same on the outside and then replace the seals. So let's get to work on that, and I'll show you how that's done. Typical starting point is to drain it. It looks very good. I think this was not done too long ago, but looking at this, it's very, very clean fluid in there. So that's a good sign that it's fairly fresh, even though I'm changing it anyway. So while I'm letting that drain, I'm going to see what's going on with this guy. You know, it was extremely loose, by the way, which is bothering me. I hope it's not stripped, but we're going to find out. Wow. Let's see exactly what this is. So now I cleaned it up, and you can take a closer look at this. So it's exactly what I thought they did. So this is a nut. I don't know if it's metric or imperial, but that doesn't matter. It's welded to either a bolt end or a stud or something. You can see that it's been cut off, whatever this is. So it's from somewhere. And it's oblong. You can see it's not centered. They just fit it in there, and they welded it. And then they used 2 copper washers, a really thick one, which made this oblong. You can see there. And then they used the proper one to try and seal it, I guess, right. And you know what? It worked. I don't know why. I wouldn't have got the proper one, or what happened to the original. Maybe it got lost. And where this came from, you've probably seen in the earlier videos, it was a pretty self-sufficient place that built a lot of stuff. So I suppose if it worked, it worked. But with that said, I dug up for my own parts, and I've got the right one here, and we're going to put the right one in. We'll get some new copper washers, and then we'll have a proper filler plug. So that part is done. This is the drain plug. If I'm looking at it, there's definitely some sludge and stuff on there. Bit of metal in it, but it's not too bad. It's doing its job, this little magnet, which is good. So I'm happy with that. I don't think it's horrible, but we'll take a closer look at the oil inside too when it drains. Next logical thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this down to see what's going on with this non-bolt that exists here. I said we've got them all around here and up there, but that one's missing. And since I gotta take this, it's called a mustache bar, out or drop it. I'll take these out and see if I can drop it, which will help drain a little more oil because it'll put more of an angle on here. So I win both ways. I dropped it down. I'm going to dig that out. I want to take this bolt off on this side because I want to make sure I get the right bolt for length wise. So I'm going to take this one off, and then I've got a reference bolt of what needs to go in here. If it's stripped, all I got to do is helicoil it, which I will do, but I want to see what's going on, or if they just didn't have, they lost a bolt and they decided they didn't need them all. I don't know. But I can't have that. We got to fix that. That's the bolt. And I'll start cleaning this out. I don't like this at all. It's definitely full of stuff. What we'll do. Okay. Yuck. Hate when that happens. We will continue on again. Oh, drop number 2. Okay, I think I'm going to move that a little bit because this is getting drenched now. Move that over like that. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Why is it when you drain oil of any type, I don't know about you guys, but you always make a mess somehow. I don't know why. It just, no matter how much you try, or at least maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments if you have the same issue I do. And whenever you drain fluid, you can't help but make a mess, either by accident or just naturally the way the motor or everything sits. I don't know. It's a pain in the ass, that's for sure. Oh well. I think what they did, I can already tell, they broke a stud. They broke a stud, is what happened. Because I'm bottoming out here. Let's just clean it out. Let's show you this. See if you can see in there. If you look, they broke the stud, and then they tried to drill it out, and they didn't get her centered, so they gave up, and then they just fill it with silicone and said, good enough, which maybe it was, but we're going to fix that. So I'm going to drill it out and use a helicoil. I've got the 10 millimeter by 125 kit here pitch, and I've got the right bit, and we'll oil it up and get this done right. And what actually looks great is the hole here is about the same, which is a 30 seconds on the outside for this plate. It's actually a really good drill guide. It fits in there pretty snug. So that'll be a good drill guide. What I got to do is put some tape on here to just make sure I don't go too far as depth. And I got this reference one here on how far to go in. So that'll work out good. So to measure the depth of what I need to drill, I'm going to use this caliper. Put it in there, get it all the way, put it flush there, and then I got my distance, which is 30.5 millimeters, which makes sense because it uses a 30 millimeter bolt, plus to make sure you don't bottom out, it's also got washers on it. So that's about right. So then I'll just measure in the bit here and put a piece of tape around it. There. See? Now we drill. If you want to see it, try and get you a close look in what it drilled out there. Yeah, so hopefully we can focus that a bit. There we are. Yeah, see? That's what it is now that I drilled it out, and we're going to do a helicoil, like I said. So this is a helicoil kit. Basically, it comes with, let's open it up here. Well, I can show you here. So it comes with a tap specifically for the helicoil itself, which is an insert, basically thread on a thread. And you'll see how that works when I go through it, I think is the best way. So let's get to it. So this is a tap specific for matching the outside threads of this helicoil, which the inside threads, when it's all put in there, will work precisely for this M10 bolt. I just got to tap in here now. It's my next move on this. And we'll make sure we put cutting oil on this, of course. Anytime you do cutting, you need cutting oil. Remember that. Always. Otherwise, you're going to dull whatever your cutting tool is. And some of these are very expensive, particularly these are, and you don't want to mess up. All right. Let's start. I don't know if you can catch it, but it's got, I'll try and do this. It's kind of got threads on it now, if you can see. Yeah, I got to make sure I put it deep enough to get past this plate, because that's really what the bolt's attaching. So we'll put the helicoil in now. So to put the helicoil in, they give you this tool. I mean, I've added this, but they give you this tool. And the idea is you put in your helicoil in there, kind of load it up basically, and then you put this in, and then you twist it in here, and it kind of gives you a guide, and you get it so it's flush there, and then you put it in against it, and then you turn it in, and then you put it in where you need to, and after that you got to break this little clip off, which kind of holds the tool in so it helps it twist here. See, there's a little clip there. You snap that off, and I'll show you what you do there. If you've never done this, it's kind of interesting how it works. I'm going to show you what I normally do, and that's not the way they tell you to do it. I don't use this. I essentially just put it on here, like so. Then I basically just run it in myself and guide it up. And I've never had a problem doing this. So I just find it easier, to be honest. See how it's turning in just fine? Let's zoom you in here a little bit. You can see how it just naturally goes in. There we are, spinning in fine. And I'll put it where I need to, as deep as I need to. And again, I got to get past this plate, which I don't know what it is. It's a bit anyway. Don't know if I got it far enough, but let's just look first. No, I don't have it deep enough. So we'll just go back in. Oh yeah, definitely deep enough now. Try to get the light in. You can kind of see the helicoil in there. See the little tab I got to break off? That's what I'm going to do next. And I'm going to show you why that tab's there in case you didn't understand it. So I don't know if you can see how, let's see the light here for you. So there's a beveled edge here, right there. You see that a little bit? And that basically fits on that groove like so, just like that. And that's why you need that to screw it in, but then obviously your bolt's got to go past that, so you snap it through. So to do that, essentially you take something. I'm going to take a screwdriver in this case, even though it's full of oil. And I'm going to find a little tab. And then you just break it, like that. And it's broke. Done. Gone. Now I can put the bolt in. And I'm going to torque it up. And that's another job finished. Put this one back in too. And since I'm torquing them, I'll torque them all, make sure they're all good according to torque spec. Because something tells me if they did that, they might not have torqued them up properly too. Okay, that one's torqued. This will be the test, right? Since I helicoiled it, let's see if it torques up. And I'm pretty sure it will. And that bolt is all torqued up, which was not even there before. So it helps with structural integrity. Plus, because this gets a little force on it when it's rigid like that, or when it's not rigid, it can be a problem, especially if you're doing high horsepower, which this car isn't. But make sure you have all these bolts in. And of course it helps seal it. But I'm going to just make sure all these are torqued up since I'm checking. Maybe they even got them too tight, but yeah, they're definitely torqued up now. It probably was stripped or whatever. That's whatever. They broke it. Now it's fixed. That job's finished. You know what we got left? Just the seals and put the fluid in. It's going really well. Now, well, let me back up and say it's going really well so far. Who knows what I'll find out as I rip things apart. Put the drain back in with a new crush washer. For what they cost, guys, don't reuse your crush washers. Put a new one in, and then you don't have to worry about any leaks after that. Let's get busy. Take this seal off right here, and I don't have the proper tool. I just use a screwdriver basically to notch it out. This one looks actually pretty new, but since I got one, I'm going to replace it anyway. Okay, it's out. So this is an OEM seal. which are the best ones if you can get them, which I think you can actually still buy these ones. So yeah, buy these. Put these guys back on with new hardware right there. Make sure you put anti-seize on, as you could see how locked in those bolts were when I took them out. And when they come out, because they're pretty strong bolts, but put it on, it just makes your life easier, or the next guy's life easier, and he'll appreciate it. Axles are done, seals are in, they're all put together, back in. Last thing to do in the rear differential is that front pinion seal on it. So to get this seal in there, first thing we'll take it off is the drive shaft here, these 4 bolts, and on with nuts. Take those off. So basically this companion flange then gets exposed, and we can take that off to get at the seal. It's back in there. Take that companion flange out, you got to take this nut off, and that'll be next. And that's the companion flange off. Yay! You guys notice everything, so I suspect you've seen when I put these axle seals in that I use a seal driver, which, you know, this is actually the one I use. And it comes with various sizes to put together, and this size that I have just fits in perfectly for that, for driving it. So this is the seal for the pinion, that seal that I'm going to do. And you can see that it works the same premise, except you may remember back there is that there is a shaft that comes through here. So a flat surface like that is going to bang into the shaft and won't be able to do it. So you got to do another method. So what I'm using for this seal to get through, around the shaft that's in there, is I have this actually ball joint kit, ball joint remover kit, and this thing actually fits perfectly for the shaft will fit through there, and this little round here fits perfectly inside there, that it can't even move. So this works really well. Got lucky on that. If you have one of these, check it out. It might work, but you need something like that to make sure you put it in. You can tap lightly with a hammer around here. It's not advised because you can dent it. It'll dent real easy, and if you dent it or move it, it cannot maybe seal around the edge. It'll kind of come in or whatever, and can leak around there. So it's ideal to get something flat like that the best you can, and punch it in. All right, let's get that sucker out of here. I'm going to destroy getting it out, but that's okay. That's what it looks like inside. I'll clean a little bit around the edges, and then we're gonna put the seal in. Okay, I'm going to do another method than I showed you. To get this on, I'm going to use the companion flange to try and help press it in. Basically, I'm going to slip this on here and then put it in like this. And that should do it right if I put the nut on. And then I'll drive it in a bit. Should work. Think it's going on. All right, that's enough. I'm gonna take it off now and have a look at it, how we did. It's on a bit. Let's take care of this. All right, it's in. Now we can put the companion flange back on for good. And it's not keyed, it just slides on the input shaft there, like so. So yeah, there's a trick. You can start to press it on with the companion flange a bit, just like I did there. So I got it all torqued up, and a little tip on how I do it anyway is I put the e-brake on, and then I do a little stop on here so it can't rotate. Now, you're still dealing with a limited slip differential, so it can be tough. But then I use this guy, because this I know is about, it'll actually go around, I think, a couple hundred Newton meters or something. 100 and, I don't know if that's 175 foot-pounds or something. Anyway, and then I'll give it a torque as well. And then we're done. So that's in. We just got this guy to put back in. And I think we're going to be done this differential. Finally. Finally. Another little tip is this bungee cord. If we follow it, you can see that what I did is I use it basically to hold the drive shaft out of the way. Another little tip if you want to know how I did that. I was going to put new hardware in, but I decided not to. In this case, these aren't actually rusted out. They're pretty strong. And if we clean up this whole thing later, then we'll definitely do something like that. But we don't need to right now today for what we're doing. We're pretty much done. Can you think about what's missing or what I've got left to do other than clean up? I do have a bit of a mess all over the place here to clean up. But what am I forgetting? Or I'm not forgetting it, but what is missing the last step? I think some of you probably kind of know what it is, and it's not as straightforward, and you might have just assumed it was going to get done anyway. Don't forget to put fluid in it after you're done the job. You don't want to run it dry, or all this work doesn't matter because you're going to wreck your differential. So let's put some fluid in. I am very fortunate right now to fill that rear differential with fluid. Guess what's missing? Yeah, the fuel tank is out. You probably noticed why in other episodes, but it's out. Normally you don't have that luxury, and what you need to do to fill your rear end with fluid is a pump. I'm fortunately not one of those guys that needs a pump right now, and I'm going to go right from the top here. What I did is hang up a funnel with a drain, and yeah, that's going to work awesome. So for those that need a pump, sucks to be you. In case you're wondering what I'm using Mitsubishi LSD gear oil SA90. Another thing I like is they got really good oil. I think this is what's actually used for the Evos as well. And if it's good enough for Evo, it's good enough for the DSM as far as I'm concerned. If you guys use other things or recommend other things, certainly put it in the comments. But that's what I'm doing with this. If this was going to be a racing machine, I definitely would be using some shockproof stuff. But for this application, this is just fine. Actually, it's probably fine for even somewhat semi-high horsepower cars as well. Definitely good enough for this. So let's start dropping it in. And it's just going to soak down, go through the hose, and fill the rear differential until it's full. And you know it's full basically when it starts coming out. So I got the car pretty level right now, and it's coming out now, so it's full. We're done with it. We basically just got to put the filler plug in, torque it up, and we will be done this job finally. Fresh new copper washer, always do that. I'll harp on that until you finally get it, guys. Okay, that about does it for this episode. We got all this done. Just to review. By the way, I painted this bung because I had cleaned it up, but I didn't paint it until I put it on, so I didn't mark it up. And for now, I just did some black paint. Like I said, we're probably going to redo all this eventually, but for now, we just want it to be safe and 100% functional, and it is now. So yeah, we basically replaced the seals, the two axles and the front pinion, and you can't see it from that angle, but we replaced this bolt. And what else did we do? We did something else, didn't we? What the heck was it? Oh, speaking of, we replaced this with a proper filler plug rather than whatever that weird homemade thing was, which again worked, but we got the right one in now. So I guess what's going to be next is finally finishing the fuel system is going to be the next episode. It's been kind of a long road cleaning that up. You guys want to maybe check out the previous episodes on this whole car of how getting it sorted out, especially the fuel system and the fuel tank and the fuel pump and how messed up that was, and what I did to get it back to fully functional again. And we're going to finish that up. And there's a bit to do yet. Put the tank in, do a pressure test and a few other things as well. So yeah, there's a bit going on, and even more to come for sure on the Lotus Esprit. I got a call this morning from the United Kingdom where the parts are coming from, and they've got it all together. It took a lot of time, months actually, to get that order together and finally get it to me or send it to me. And they said it's going to be starting its way to me this week. And they're saying it air freight. I thought it was going to be through a shipyard across the ocean, but apparently it's going air, which is awesome. So I might have a really nice gift coming up soon. So I got to get this car to where it needs to be. I got that Comet up above. I got that still ripped apart in the transmission. I haven't put it back together yet. So I really want to get to the Lotus. I know a lot of you want me to get back to the Lotus, and I can't wait to get to that project. So when those parts come, you'll be the first to see it and what I've got. And there's like 3 crates coming, so there's a lot of parts coming. I'm excited about it. So you want to maybe catch all that, what's all going on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss it. Hit the bell, get the alerts, and you know what would really help me too is if you share this. If you know somebody who likes this type of stuff, send it to them, see if they're interested. That would really help me along, maybe grow the channel and the community, and we'll see what else we can do with it in the future ahead. So thanks again for all your support out there that do watch all my videos, and you guys are great, and I appreciate all of you. Your comments are awesome. I read all of them. I try to respond to all of them, and I enjoy them. And don't forget, the comments aren't just for me, they're for the community that's watching as well, because a lot of people do read those comments. Get involved. I really appreciate that. So until the next episode, enjoy every day and always make it right.